put on the helmet for the one dumb moment.
Anyway, use this to talk about the... And first of all, Rainbow Rocket expanded on the ridiculous timeline bullshit. Because...
Oh, wait, is that
in the community center.
Yeah.
Remember, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, straight out in the story, explains the timeline split.
Oh.
Because they literally explain.
Well, one half of the games has, like, one half of the versions, and the other game is the other versions, because it was Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. It's like, in Alpha Sapphire, it's, you know, Archie, and it's Maxie, and Omega Ruby, and not just that, it's also the other team leaders was previous legendaries and shit if they had a split.
The first canonical explanation of the timeline split was Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire straight out saying that
when the one weapon was fired, it created the split timeline.
Well, they explained multiple things. Remember, they learned that Rayquaza, that in one timeline, it was able to save the world from destruction because the meteor that was going to destroy Earth was, like, super tiny.
Yes.
But then, in the Mega Evolution timeline, the meteor was too big, so...
So Rayquaza was like, I have the power of God and anime on my side.
Rayquaza willed Mega Evolution into existence to save the planet. This all fucking happened.
Like I said, I have the power of God and anime on my side.
Nothing I'm saying is fake. And then we get time-traveling, multiverse-hopping Giovanni.
Where it's not just Giovanni, it's Giovanni bringing the villain team leader from every game with him, which, like I said, leads to all the Giovanni himself technically doesn't have every legendary. He is working with the team leaders that all have their respective legendary. How the fuck do you beat that?
And the joke I will continue to make is the way the Rainbow Rocket story ends. You beat Giovanni, but before they can catch him, he is basically like Giovanni out, and he can will the, like, ultra space wormholes, and he just portals out. He has complete control over those. Meaning, and this I say it as a joke, but I'm technically not wrong. If they wanted to put Giovanni into this game, they could have just had the man walk out of a portal.
A joke I made off recording, I almost want to see them do, is have in a later game you fight the Rainbow Rocket Giovanni, but to really sell this, he whips out mechanics that don't exist in the game. Because he's just been multiverse hopping, so he whips out his Mega Evolution, a Z move, Gigantamax. None of these mechanics are natively in the game. And I would almost respect the hustle.
They literally set up that Giovanni could portal to any time or space he wanted to. If they want Giovanni in a Pokemon game, they can just have the man walk out of a portal.
Yeah.
And it technically makes sense. And then if you want him to just be a perpetual villain, even when you beat him, as long as it's like, oh, well, I'm out of usable Pokemon. Bye.
That's the other thing I find funny is that it, like, they never explained how he could make the portals when you literally could have just had, he has an Ultra Beast with him. You literally could have just had, he has like an Lego or something, and it's the one making the portals, because the Ultra Beast could already do that.
No, the dumb part, they did explain it, but they sort of explained it by not really explaining it.
What the hell is the explanation then?
There was that time in canon after Team Rocket was beat in the OG timeline where Giovanni just ceases to exist in Gold and Silver. And in Gold and Silver, like, they're looking for Giovanni and they can't find him. Because in the original game, he left after, you know, his entire crime organization was beaten by a 12-year-old.
Funny thing is, because of a simular, he just vanishes out of nowhere. A lot of people think Giovanni also kills himself, even though, again, because of that one fight in Gold and Silver, you're in a cave, and I believe one of his Pokemon do canonically no dig in that fight. So it's a similar thing of Red if he probably just escaped, you edgy motherfuckers.
I'll comment on the portal thing in a minute. I wanted to make another comment. Well, a lot of people think this epilogue is kind of awful. Everyone's like, the freaking Mochi zombie battle music. Everyone's like,
is this another song done by Toby Fox or not?
I don't know. Other point that someone pointed out, and I didn't notice it, Kieran's team.
It's the team he fought you with in the Indigo Disc.
No, it isn't. That's not his Indigo Disc team.
Oh wait, it's a mix of the two because he uses Porygon Z and Poliwrath. It's a mix of the two teams.
He brought back some of the Pokemon that he had. God damn it. What am I weird? You know what I'm trying to say.
Yes. Yes! Oh wait, no, I have to swap in. Damn it.
I'll make my other point in a minute.
Which I am... I'm almost tempted to fucking do that. Just to get...
Kieran, to talk about... all over the place. He's using some of the Pokemon he had when you first battled him in the original DLC. It's not entirely the Blueberry team.
Like I said, it was a mix of the two.
Sunspore.
Does that affect?
Yeah. Now, what I was going to say, because they vaguely explain this, but in the vagueness, the explanation is still crazy. They basically do canonically explain that Giovanni, in the original timeline, when he disappeared in the Gold and Silver games, that he was literally sucked through a wormhole and ended up in the alternate timelines. And basically, the whole, his ability to just kind of portal around and stuff is that, like, after he fell through the wormhole, and forget exactly what he said, but it's like the most vague random nonsense where he pretty much explains that after falling through the wormhole and getting a hold of a few things, that he basically learned to dimension hop. So Giovanni with
I'm pretty sure people made this joke. At that point, that means he's basically General Zod from Superman. He spent so long in Ultra space, he just learned how to control it, like how General Zod just learned how to open doors to the Phantom Zone.
That's basically how that went.
Like I said, it's basically General Zod.
I also think there was a throwaway line that what also helped him do this is the fact that this is a Giovanni that ended up in a world where he technically won, and by having a Mewtwo, that Mewtwo's intense psychic powers basically let Giovanni, you know, focus down the whole warping dimensions thing. And if there is a Pokemon that we could ask pull retroactively warping dimensions, it would be Mewtwo's intense psychic powers.
Wasn't it stated in a Pokédex that like Alakazam can see all possible timelines or something like that?
So it is basically
Psychic types are kind of cracked.
Giovanni's sheer swagger and the power of Mewtwo.
My two favorite like psychic types being cracked are Natu, I believe it states one of its eyes sees into the past, one sees into the future. And the other one is Gothitelle. It was like it knows the day its trainer will die and it starts to weep.
Yep. The whole other point on the Giovanni thing, and this vagueness does kind of fit something in the Ultra games and just Sun and Moon in general, where like Lucidine's husband went through a portal and lost all of his memories.
Yeah.
So it basically isn't completely bullshit, because in the Ultra games specifically, you have the Ultra Megaopolis.
Well, remember, I brought up that thing the anime did. I know it's the anime canon, but it's still interesting that in the anime canon, Misty Terrain would lead to people seeing, like, images, basically, of their relatives that passed when, Lily and her brother, when they were in Misty Terrain, they didn't see their father, meaning he's not dead. Again, I know it's the anime canon, and the canon is different. I just remember a lot of people talking about that episode, especially because, if I remember correctly, the English dub of that episode actually doesn't tone it down as much as you think it would. It kept fairly intact.
My whole point is, man getting lost in another dimension and gaining superpowers is not the most ridiculous thing to come out of a... Oh!
Yes.
Oh. We about to have some fun. Because Defiant, if you lose a stat...
That's why when it's set...
When
one thing set up sticky, that's why I literally swapped it out and swapped it back in to get a Defiant boost.
Woo! Y'all are doomed now.
Now, could you lower my stats more? That would be great.
Just every couple of years you have to talk about time-traveling, multiverse, hopping Giovanni. Because that's the thing.
Yes.
Don't shut. Man. Memo Swine. This fucking happened.
Oh! Yay! Thanks for the Rage Fist boost, jackass.
Talk about Pokemon on and off. It's just Giovanni thing. Talk about mechanics. If people aren't familiar with things, every time you hit Annihilate, Rage Fist gains 50 base power. It starts at 50, so that one hit, it's 100 now.
Is that because Rage Fist is stab is 125 power now, because Dewey's stab is 75 initially because it's a 50 power move. So you just get hit once and it becomes basically stronger than close combat.
Yes. And it keeps going.
Yes. Until it caps at 255 power. Though that is only the base power of the move, stab, again, still goes beyond that. So, yeah, its actual final power is like, because stab is half, it would be like 100, like 50. It's like 400, I think 25 is what it caps at. Somewhere around there.
And this is why most common Annihilate are bulky and don't run a lot of attack investment. Because you damn near don't need it, because a couple of Race Fist stacks are normally...
Okay, to be fair, using that, because of that fact, even though I think that's an Annihilate was like 200 something attack, once people realize that Annihilate, especially if it doesn't have an offensive item, is somewhat unthreatening if you just leave it there, it's like Rage Fist and stuff, even with a Defiant boost or Bulk Up boost, isn't that threatening if you don't attack it.
You can kind of leave it alone to not stack it, and your damage is kind of pitiful.
Though the problem is if you leave it alone, it could potentially start setting up Bulk Up.
And that's generally how the bulky common sets work.
You know,
it's a Pokemon that when used right is...
Yeah, so it can be very obnoxious.
At the cost of maybe losing some damage to...
Because when you're running with Rage Fist and Drain Punch, because those are lower powered moves, you do need, like, basically a +2 to start dealing a lot of damage, unless you get hit, basically, like, twice. Now, again, to be fair, that is the other annoying thing with it. Like I said, once you get hit once, it is a 125 power move. What is this thing's? Yeah, it was the mostly HP and attack one, and then it's very hard to notice. It was like very small stat increases
for the defense and the speed.
And everything else.
Because this was the slightly more offensive Annihilate that gives up a little bit of like consistent bulk to hit really good damage thresholds to kind of fix the problem of Annihilate where you can run bulkier ones that don't hit as hard. It's time for the question of the day and my overall thoughts on the topic. So, anyway, what is your opinion on the Mochi Mayhem music? Personally, that is one of my favorite songs in the game. Because personally, the song sounds incredibly stupid in the best way. It sounds a lot like the chicken dance, and that seems to have been intentional. I love Mochi Mayhem because it embodies a very specific feeling that is both unsettling and at the same time incredibly stupid. A perfect embodiment of this event, and I really do love how Mochi Mayhem sounds. So overall, I think the song is really good, because I think it really does fit the mood perfectly, and a lot of people absolutely started laughing when they heard that song for the first time. Meaning, I think that song did exactly what it was trying to do. But, anyway, you can leave your thoughts, opinions, and answers in the comments. Or you can leave them on social media. All of my social media links, as well as my Discord links, are in the video description. Now, as always, I need to be a shill for a minute. If you subscribe to the channel, and if you follow me on social media, that really helps our communities grow. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I hope I will see you all next time. So, as always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everybody. I hope you come back someday. See you later.